Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Mercedes-Benz G550, and today we're going to see what it's like to live with. I'm going to start with the spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19 and a half feet long. I've got the G parked actually with the right tire hanging over the edge by about an inch or so, sitting next to a new Audi SQ7 that my wife is reviewing. If you want to check out her content, it's at Mobile Mama on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. She's got that one parked maybe 8 to 10 inches in from the edge. Even with this imperfect parking job, you can still easily pass between the vehicles, and the power folding door mirrors do help. There is also enough room to wheel a double stroller or wagon through for our kiddos. The nose of the G is hovering over the gutter at the front of my driveway, and as you already saw, that leaves enough room to walk in front of the hedge along the path to my front door. When first getting inside, I can't just leave the key fob in my pocket and use remote keyless entry to access. That's not a feature equipped to the G. I do have to pull this out and hit the unlock button, but at least you do hear those heavy-duty mechanical latches that are characteristic of this truck, and then I press on this button and feel the satisfaction of that latch undoing. If I did want to get into all four doors, I'd have to hit the unlock button again. Opening up that door, I'm going to wait until I'm parked next to someone in a lot to show you the actual door opening space. For now, I will just hop on in, and there isn't a grab handle here on the A-pillar. I would prefer that. Instead, there's just one up above, and that's sort of an awkward way to get into the cabin. Closing up that door, I have to do so with authority, otherwise it won't actually close. Hello, cabin crew. Thanks for joining for this day in the life in the 25 G550. In this video, I want to see what it's like to live with a heavily modernized but still old school off-roader. And there goes Mobile Mama and the kiddos. All right, let's fire it up. Oh my gosh. This new turbo inline 6 sounds so quiet from here inside the cabin, especially relative to the old V8. Let's listen to it from outside now. Oh yeah. It's incredibly subdued. This will disturb no one in your neighborhood at any time of day. In fact, the door handles and the latches are louder than the startup sound from that engine. Okay, let's see where I would stash the items I bring with me every day, like my smartphone, which can go on the wireless charging pad, and my 32-ounce metal water bottle fit inside the cup holders. That's so rare to happen. I love to see it, and holds it securely. Here inside the console, well, I do have my sunglasses just sitting loosely on top of my GoPro accessory case because there isn't dedicated sunglass storage anywhere inside this cabin. That doesn't make me happy. And then my wallet is sitting next to those. And that's all I've got on me, so I think the storage is plentiful. I just wish there were some more dedicated cubbies to things like sunglasses. Now throwing on my belts and clicking it down into drive, that's going to release the parking brake. And rolling forward here, I do not have to worry about the clearance with the gutter at the front of my driveway, even though I do have the curb ramps there, because the G, well, it's got plenty of that. And I'm going to clear the trash cans and the basketball hoops on my way out. On this not terribly cold California winter's morning, I would still like some additional warmth. So I'm going to turn on my steering wheel heating and my seat heating over here. And I'd also like the seat massage to go. Now, unfortunately, that's not a button over here that's easy to access. I have to go into the menu, slide over to comfort, and then choose the massage I prefer, or I could use voice commands. And as seat massages go, this one's pretty good. It's very soothing, but there are just two things that take away from that a little bit. For one, it does turn itself off after a while, and I wish it would just keep going until I manually switched it off. And two, if you are sitting at a stoplight, not making a lot of noise, then you can actually hear the pads on the seat back popping as they engage and disengage. It's like the door latches. This vehicle just has to make some noise. It's still really nice to have. And this turbo inline 6-cylinder is so smooth. In the comfort drive mode, the throttle response is still peppy enough, and there's plenty of power and torque to easily get you up to speed, but it's just a velvety powertrain. You do notice the multi-clutch automatic gear changes in a couple situations under very initial acceleration or under deceleration, there's some minor clunkiness to the transmission, more so than you would find with a torque converter automatic, but it's not bad at all. The braking, apart from those gear changes sometimes, is smooth. You can modulate that pedal and come up to a stop, and then when you're sitting at that light, you press in hard on the pedal and it will auto hold for you so you can get back to relaxing with your massage. I mean, the entire around town driving experience in this updated G550 is more pleasant than it looks. This just is a big box, and that doesn't conjure an impression of refinement, yet that's precisely what I've experienced here behind the wheel. Way more so than another big box that comes to mind, the Jeep Wrangler. Even right down to the steering feel, which actually is something compared to the Wrangler. It's way more direct, it's not as sloppy, just off center. And then the ride compliance, these adaptive dampers, it just filters out the harshness of the road. And it does help that this one I'm driving is on the all-terrain tires with that extra sidewall on just 18-inch wheels. Got that extra cushion. And it does come in handy. While the mild grade of the all-terrains don't create any unnecessary hum, seats are comfortable too, lots of adjustments to these. I've got a lot of headroom above. I've got this incredible vantage point where I can see the whole road. Love this giant piece of glass and all the other ones around me. I just can see everything with the naked eye. And then there is also blind spot monitoring to help, because when the back headrests are up, that does create a blind spot, but as you can see right behind me, with it down, you can just see everything. But wait, we've yet to address a couple critical pieces of the daily driving equation. The turn signal sound, for one, which is a pleasant tune. It's not overly aggressive. What about the turning radius? I'm going to attempt to turn around in one go using all of the road I can, first going right before pivoting left, and narrowly making it there. And what about here? Can I get it? Can I get it? Let's pull up the camera system to make sure. No. No, that's not going to work. So the turning circle is, well, it's just average. It's not above average. Now on to the next consideration. What if someone cuts me off in the G-Wagon and I feel the need to make them hear about their grievous error? What are they going to hear? Oh, gosh. Well, that backfired. It unsettled me more than it would them. Did I make the mistake? I probably did. And I know someone who could tell me for sure. My mom. So I'm gonna go pick her up and we are gonna get coffee. Hey, Mom.
Hi, Miles.
Welcome to the G550. So you had the V8 version of this. You were driving around for a bit. You just borrowed it. So you know what it's like to drive around in the G-Wagon.
Yes.
And my first question for you is what that feels like. Because I think it's a bit different than driving around in other SUVs.
Oh, I would agree with you 100%. It's very, I think you expect it to feel a little like a Jeep.
Yeah.
But it's...
I was just making that comparison. I didn't queue her up for this, I promise. Yeah.
Definitely not a Jeep.
No, it's a luxury vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, without doubt.
I also just love the vantage point from the driver's seat. You feel like you're on top of the vehicle, which wouldn't be great for a sports car, but it's perfect for a truck like this, a body-on-frame vehicle.
Right.
And I mean, it has to be great for you. You
Yes.
being shorter in stature.
Yes. I
at
do like to
5'3".
feel high up.
Yes. Was there anything about driving it that, because of the style of it or how it drove, gave you any hesitation?
I don't think so.
No?
I found it easy to park.
Yeah.
The parameters seemed to be, there were no visual surprises,
Yes.
in other words.
It is nice. It has short overhangs.
I did have one odd experience,
Okay.
though. When, you have a backup camera.
Yep.
Well, when I put it into reverse to back up,
Yeah.
it did show me what was behind me, but then it switched, without my switching it, to some other view, and I thought I was backing into a closed garage door.
Oh no.
When in reality, I was seeing something in front of me.
Oh, okay. So it did its like intelligent adjustment. So it's got like the 3D view, and then it has different camera angles. So
Right.
it decided, oh, now you want to go forward, or now you want the
guess.
forward view.
Yes.
And you didn't like that.
And I thought I was seeing the backward view.
Yes. So you
It was
freaked
like,
out for a minute.
How did the garage
Yeah.
door suddenly
It teleported,
close?
or I did. I won't hide that I thought it was a little bit funny when you were first trying to get in.
Oh.
But that's,
It's a big step up.
it's a big step up, but also like on the passenger side, you at least have that grab handle.
Yes,
I
this
didn't
was
get to see
helpful.
you trying to drive the G-Wagon and getting into the driver's seat because we don't have a grab handle here. So
Right.
how did you manage that task when you were driving?
I found this.
Oh,
I found
the one
this.
up top.
Yes,
But
so-
you still have to sling your leg up pretty high if you're not that tall to then give you the perch to then get up to here and grab that.
Right. And the way the door sill is set up, you have to get your foot firmly on the inside of the vehicle
Oh, okay.
in order to pull yourself up without being on the paint and
Oh.
being somewhat slippery.
Oh, slippery. Yeah, I was thinking, okay, you wouldn't want to damage that, but it's also like, it's slick.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So maybe this isn't the best vehicle for those on the shorter side. At least not if you want to look cool getting in and out of it. You would.
I probably did not
You'd
look
have a
very
bit of,
cool.
But you know what? I feel like if you're driving the G-Wagon, and maybe this is why so many, I've seen a lot of women drive G-Wagons.
Mm-hmm.
You don't much care because it is still sort of a status symbol kind of thing.
Oh, I think so.
And so people see someone driving a G-Wagon and they maybe don't pay attention or they gloss over the awkwardness of their entry and exit. Do you like how this one looks in this sand color?
I do. I like it. I like the trim, in the wood trim.
It feels very Sahara.
Yes. I also like this brushed nickel. I would order it like this.
You would?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Would you like a massage?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Do you like the voice command feature, or would you think that's just like irritating?
No, I think I would like it.
You would use it?
Oh, I'm getting the butt massage
There you
too.
go. That's next.
Okay.
Never just cues you up for one.
It just moved on down.
If you weren't expecting that, I think that would be a little unsettling. I will need to truncate your massage because we have just about arrived at our
Okay.
coffee shop du jour.
That's fine. I might have been getting too relaxed.
Have you been to Hidden House Coffee?
Never.
I've been here just once, but it was
HHC Roasters.
delicious. So hopefully we have a good cup of joe. All right, we made it, but I have to see if I can open the door. I promised everyone that I would show the door opening space here parked next to someone, and that's one defined notch. I can't quite go two, but that's still enough. I found it easy to get in and out.
Okay.
Okay, we got our coffees, and I got something new and different.
What's that?
Pistachio cold foam.
I actually see the green.
You got a cappuccino.
Standard.
But you were surprised that it was what they call barista temp, which is kind of like the very drinkable temperature, not hot like you usually get. Yeah, and I look forward to trying their decaf beans at home. Cheers.
Yeah. Chink chink. Yum.
Oh, that's good. Not too sweet. We are refueled, although I did the decaf experience, of course, so I'm not perked up.
Okay.
Are you perked up?
I'm totally perked up.
Perfect.
I had a cappuccino.
Okay.
Fuerte.
So you're invigorated to
Yes,
help me
absolutely.
talk about the back seats
take a look
of
at the details.
G550.
Okay.
First off, what about the doors? How do you feel about these? Having to press in completely on that button to open them up and then like just
I think
slam it shut.
It's a bit of a workout.
It is.
I mean, when you first approach the door, I don't think you realize you have to totally depress
Get it
that.
all the way in, yes.
Yeah. But once you've done it once or twice, you know what to expect.
Would that wear on you over time, or does it give you
No.
satisfaction
No.
to slam that door?
No, it's a good, solid Mercedes door.
Hop over to that side. I want you to help me go over the back seats of the G550. First off, yeah, getting in just like the front,
Yeah.
we only have this grab handle here,
Oh,
and that's just not as useful as I think a grab handle here personally.
you know, I didn't feel graceful doing that.
So this is behind my seat at 6 feet tall, and The knees are a little close to the seat back, which is injection molded. It's not covered in leather like almost everything else in this cabin. The door is completely covered in leather, contrast stitched. Got that nice real wood trim there.
Yeah,
Even
it's
this center
beautiful.
console piece is all in leather. They didn't cheap out on plastic here.
It's beautiful.
It's very nice. And you've got 2 USB-C ports and a DC outlet down there. 3rd zone of climate.
You do have heated seats.
Heated seats, yes. Not ventilated
cooled.
seats. Not cooled.
Okay.
How much do you think this is?
Well, it's well over 100,000. We know that.
Yes.
160.
Close. 170. It's pretty steep. It's a
Yeah.
little steep, but you're getting the traditional luxuries. They're doing that well. The seats are also really nice and squishy.
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I like the way the seats are sculpted.
Yes, they're molded around your thighs.
And I wouldn't mind sitting in the back seat for a drive.
Would you sit in the middle seat, though?
Well, it could.
Let's find out.
I don't have the problem with the knees.
3 full-size adults in the back wouldn't be
Yeah.
happy for a long journey, but you could make it work in a
But over
pinch.
here-
If you and your coworkers are going to coffee or
Yes.
something.
Yes,
You
for
can also
sure.
recline your seat.
Oh, let me give that a try.
Yeah, so you pull on the lever there.
Oh, yeah. This
Goes
is
back pretty
nice.
far.
Yeah.
And then you're admiring the suede
Oh,
wrapped
yes.
headliner. It's a nice touch. If I pull the seat back up, my head clears the roof by like a lot because it
Yeah.
bulges
Oh,
up.
you've got 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah. So it's
Nice.
for tall people, but maybe not so tall in the leg area.
Tall torso people.
Tall torso people, yes,
Yes.
just like myself. There's an armrest with cup holders
Nice.
and padding of leather. And then there is the Burmester sound system
Yeah.
with this nice aluminum speaker grate.
It's beautiful.
Okay,
That-
so the luxury touches are well done.
I would say so.
Yeah, but the front seat is where you really want to be.
Absolutely.
You can feel the 443 horsepower.
Wow. Is this a V8?
No, it's a single turbo inline 6-cylinder. It used to be a V8. They've downsized,
Wow.
but it still makes great power.
But they didn't sacrifice the
No,
power.
no. The passing power is good.
Oh, it's very good. That gives you the confidence that you can do whatever you need to do in traffic.
Yes, you look it, you feel it,
And you do it.
and you do it. I have a couple errands to run now, the first of which being to return these items. So I need access to the cargo hold, pressing in and pulling on this heavy swing out, which opens right to left. Not a problem for most situations, but sometimes based on your parking or proximity, it could be a complication. And look at this cargo hold. It is voluminous and should easily swallow up the few goodies I have. Indeed it did, and I can still use the cargo cover to keep everything secure when the trunk is closed. Stop number 1, Kohl's. That took 30 minutes longer than it normally does. It was like everyone had the same exact idea at the very same time. Anyway, on to stop number 2, the UPS store. All right, I've dropped some things off. Now I'm gonna pick something up. I have a very small home improvement project I've been putting off for a long time, and the G has what it takes to help me out. So I'm gonna hop in here to Home Depot. Yep, I bought rocks. Well, Mexican beach pebbles to be exact, but thanks to the rugged ladder frame architecture of the Gelandewagen, these, at their weight, won't even make a dent in the payload rating of this truck. I should have bought more. Now I can finally transform this muddy area around the water meter into, with some help, good throw guys, a rocky pit. It's the little things in life, you know? Yesterday, we got both Mom and Home Depot approval. Today, we're gonna see about off-road capability and family friendliness. But first, I have to see how quick it is to 60 on this misty morning. I've got my race box set up here for better reception. I'm in the sport drive mode, foot is on the brake, pinning the throttle, building up the revs, letting it go, and hustling to 60 in 5.03 seconds. Not bad for a box on wheels. But remember, this is a fancy box, so I expect it to be quiet and comfortable for our highway journey to an off-road destination. So let me just zip the lip for a moment and listen to the cabin volume at these speeds. Yes, I am getting wind noise. Not an egregious amount of it, though. Given the unaerodynamic shape, this isn't bad. Like, I could easily have a conversation at my normal tone of voice, which happens to be elevated, to my passenger just immediately to my right, and probably even to the people behind me. I would not need to shout. And the all-terrain tires, as I experienced around town, are not making a lot of noise, even on that louder piece of road back there. So this would make for a terrific commuter, maybe even a road tripper. And on the subject of commuting, you do have some driving assistance features which you can enable here. Those include adaptive cruise control, so I can take my foot off the throttle and brake, and it would maintain a following distance to the vehicle in front of me. It also has steering assistance. It's not hands-free driving. I'll just take my hands off the wheel momentarily to demonstrate how it does stay in the center of the lane on this curve. Some other Mercedes-Benz vehicles do have full-on hands-free driving on the highway, but you know what? I don't think I miss it too much in this very utilitarian-oriented G-Wagon, because what we do have would still decrease the fatigue of longer traffic-heavy commutes. And for those longer drives, you may want to listen to the Burmester high-end 3D sound system. We're going to do that via the wireless Apple CarPlay. By the way, this screen is super responsive, and I don't have to touch it if I don't want to. I can use the trackpad down here, which also works well, and some of these physical controls. Getting CarPlay set up. Got this scroll wheel for volume control, or I can do this touch control on the steering wheel. These work at about 50% success. If your hands clam up at all, they don't. So here's 50%. Let's go a little higher. Maybe 60. That A-Class doing up there? I don't know. But I know this sound system is pleasing my eardrums. It's a high fidelity system, great range. The bass came in strong as well. There obviously weren't any vocals to listen to for that song, but based on what I just heard for the clarity, I imagine those would be satisfying too. I have made it off the pavement, so now it's time to change the drive mode. We're gonna move into the trail mode, which will perk up the throttle response. It's going to reduce the invasiveness of traction control, all for loose dirt conditions like these. And now, with the off-road gauges primed, we're gonna get to work. Starting out on this fire road, which will give us the conditions you might find on your way to a campsite. I'm mostly thinking about the ride compliance, how the suspension absorbs ruts like what we just went over and jutting rock. That first bump, this truck took in stride. Feels very compliant on these washboardy surfaces. Easy to direct the G. Traction hasn't butted its head in just yet. The steering feel I enjoyed around town is even more pleasant here off-road. Brakes still have good bites. The all-terrain tires are doing their thing, biting in on the edges. Oh yeah, and the surge of the turbo inline 6 up that hill. There's just so much power and torque here. And this is obviously not a sport truck, and it still has a very high center of gravity, so I have to be careful. But at these speeds, it feels very controllable. Oh boy, some water. Let's move through this. Whee! And now with the stability control system switched off, I can get on the power earlier and have some rear end movement coming out of the curves. Wee doggy! Okay, so we can do the fire roads just fine. What about lower speed, more technical, more incline? Let's see about that. This should do nicely. It's a steep ascent with some deeper ruts and looks like loose rock up top. I need to change the mode once more. We're gonna go into the rock mode, activate that, and then I'm also going to activate low range. So moving into neutral briefly, rolling, that is engaged, back down into drive, and now I just have tons of low end torque. I can just breathe on the throttle, and the G-Wagon pulls right up this hill. And on this way back down, I'm going to use the downhill speed regulation system, which will allow me to take my foot off the brake and throttle, and the G-Wagon will set a speed in 2 mile/hour increments that I can adjust here via the cruise control settings. And I can just focus on steering. I can focus on putting the tires in the exact right spot. And if I can't see too well, then I can pull up the camera system and make sure I don't end up in a rut unintentionally. It made that descent so easy. All right, fine. Let's have a bit of a challenge mode here. A reason to triple lock. I mean, it's probably overkill, but why not? 1, 2, 3 diffs in the process of locking up. That's center locker, rear locker, and front locker. So there shouldn't be any loss of traction. If a tire starts to slip, it's just gonna redistribute to a tire that does have grip. And that's the sensation I feel from my right foot. It just powers forward, dips down, moves on. This is the storied Geländewagen. That classic off-road capability with a lot of modern conveniences and confidence-inspiring features baked in. Oh, you can't help but feel cool. I see skies of blue, not ground of brown, because the steepness of this ascent is profound. And I think to myself, how is this a luxury vehicle? After those shenanigans, it's time to put some fuel back in this sizable 26.4 gallon tank. The EPA rates the G550 at 17 mpg in the city, 19 on the highway, and 18 combined. If you saw 18 combined, you'd have a fuel range of 475 miles, but over the last 150 miles or so, I've averaged just 14.7 miles per gallon. And at current fuel prices of $4.79 for 91 octane gas that the G550 does require, it's gonna cost me $126 to fill this tank, and there isn't capless fueling. I have to work so much harder. It's gonna be playtime at the park next, but we have to install these car seats first. Which of course means recruiting Mobile Mama.
Recruiting Mobile Mama. That's the line you say every time. Are people surprised still?
What, that I bring you in?
I don't think so.
No.
And that you say that every time.
Oh, well no, they're not surprised that you're coming in to help, because you're my wife. You're my wife, come on. Okay, what are we doing?
I'm good at car seats.
Yeah.
Okay, you have 2 sets of lower latch anchors, 3 tethers, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
It is. So what'd you think?
About what?
About your install. Your car seat. What else would I be asking you about?
I don't know.
What?
It was pretty easy.
Yeah?
Yeah, and the last time I reviewed this, I thought, oh, it's real tight, but this wasn't so bad.
Well, I should admit something to you. I did move your seat forward.
Oh, well, there you go.
So we're going to find out whether she has leg room.
I'll be cramped.
It wasn't hard for me, but I don't know if Tali's going to have good leg room because her feet kind of come to above where your foot wells would be for an adult. So it's going to be slamming right there in the back of the seat. All right, let's go see your leg room. Oh, so what are we looking at?
I'm actually surprised
Your legs
that
are
it's
crossed.
comfortable. Yeah. Did you go off-roading?
Yeah.
My jeans are now dirty.
Well,
thank you.
You couldn't tell because it's the same color as dirt.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't actually know how you have so much room because you're not touching the seat.
I know, when I reviewed this before.
They
I
didn't add
have
any
this
room in the back for 25. Maybe we're just getting better at this?
Maybe.
I don't know. Either way, I think we can say it.
Yeah, it's fine.
The 25 Mercedes-Benz G550 is
Family approved.
Okay, next challenge. Can Romy climb up? Come on. You can do this. Use your training. You did it! Yay, Romy. Good job. We made it to the sports park.
Sissy.
Sissy, yes, Sissy and Mommy and Daddy.
I like that car.
Which car? Oh, with the Falcon doors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a Tesla.
That's a Tesla.
I
Just like
want that one.
everyone else in this area. You want that when you're older?
Oh, well, look at this green car.
Look at the Hummer. You want a Hummer?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we think that your first vehicle has to be some kind of truck, right, Tali?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get you a Hummer, but that's pretty cool. Okay, let's go play with much smaller, much cheaper kids' toys. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered what it would be like to live with an off-road capable luxury rig. And after quality time spent behind this wheel, I have become convinced it is the best of both worlds. With excellent ride compliance, ample luxury features, at least for front passengers, and remarkable cabin quiet given its boxy shape, this is a very livable truck. If you have young kids, or you're not very tall, or you're not very strong, then the G's tough to operate doors and lack of low-mounted grab handles do pose a small challenge. But if you want a unique, comfortable daily driver that's also very capable off-road or taking you to camping sites on the weekends, then look no further, provided you have an exorbitant budget. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time.